Hello, this is Jamie Magridge. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. So let's get started. I'm going to be using Versamark and gold embossing powder. Of course, the heat tool that goes along with that. Some colored pencils. I have white, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green. This is another white, it's just a little bit softer. Real Red, and Coastal Cabana. I have a 3 3/4 by 5" piece of black, piece of gold metallic specialty paper, which is 4 by 5 1/4. I've cut the center out just so that I didn't waste the whole piece. And a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2" piece of thick that I've scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay, put these two pieces aside for now. I'm just going to be working on this one. And I'm going to bring the Versamark. The first thing I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment up here in this top corner. You probably can't see it. Oh, you can. Okay, awesome. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and stamp this large flower. Down here. I want it close to this edge, but I want about 1 inch of space at the bottom, because I want to add a few leaves there. Okay. Then let's bring in the leaves. I'm going to add one here. There's like a little nook there in the leaves, or in the petals. I'm going to put one there. I'll put one up here a little bit above it. I'm going to put one, there's another little nook down here. I'm going to put one in there. Okay, then there's two of these flower. I forgot to show you what stamp set I'm using. Happiness Abounds. So I'm using this one, this leaf, and these two here. So this is the one with the more flowers. And I'm going to put one right here next to those leaves. And I'm going to put one a little bit farther down from that one, facing down. And I'm going to put one down here at the bottom, right next to that flower. Okay, then I'm going to bring in the 3 flowered one. And I'm going to put one of those up here. One of those here, and if you can't see your embossing, then go ahead and put the powder on and emboss in stages. And I'm going to put one of these down here. Okay, the cover on the ink, and I bring in my embossing powder. And I forgot to use my embossing buddy, but it's alright. Sprinkle this with the embossing powder. A little bit more right there. Give it a good flick on the back. Knocks off most of those stray ones. A little bit there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. I'll bring in my paint tool. Couple stray pieces here. I'm gonna, where did I put it there? Brush off a couple stray pieces. I don't want to emboss there. There's some here. Okay, I'm gonna put this on setting 2. It's got 2 settings. 1 and 2. Melt the crystals. Takes a minute to heat up, but once it does, there it goes. It is really hot, so watch your fingers. Slowly move around. You don't want to keep it in one spot too long, or you'll actually melt the embossing powder completely into your paper. It takes the shine away. Okay. Just give it a quick once over, make sure I don't miss any. Alright, that looks good. Anything? Alright, so now I'm going to come in with the white pencil. Actually, I think I'll bring that board back in. It's a nice hard surface, and I can pick it up easy so you can see. And I'm just going to use the white pencil, and I'm going to color in all of the spaces inside the flower and the leaves. I'm just going to color in. A sharp pencil works the best because you can get in all these little spaces. This pencil works really well from Stampin'Up, but it's a little bit harder. Let me show you the difference. This one is a Prismacolor. It's softer. See how much easier that is to put down? I like it better, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Prismacolor, but the Stampin'Up pencil works fine. I just like the whiteness of this one, and it's much easier to get the color down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this for the whole thing. Go ahead and color even the leaves. And these petals in here. I didn't do the center of the flowers of these little ones. I just did the outside petals. I'll bring it up here and show you just a second. Okay, so see, just coloring those in. So I'm going to continue and color the rest of those in off camera, and then we'll go on to the next step. One thing I forgot to mention is I try to make my strokes the directions of the petals. So I'm not going to do horizontal across the petals. I'm going to go with the grain of the direction of the petal. Unless it's a little spot where it's not going to show. Alright. Almost done with the big flower. Sorry if my voice gets quiet. I get in a Zen mode. It's kind of relaxing. Go in the green with the same direction the veins would go in the leaves or the petals. All these little ones. The pencil's getting dull, so it's hard to get in these little spots. Should go sharpen it. I didn't worry about the little leaves on these flowers. I just did the flowers themselves. This one's still sharp, so I'm going to go back to it for the rest of these. This has a smoother color to it, the Stampin' Up! One. It's not as blotchy, but it's not as white either. Okay. Oops, I missed these ones over here all completely. Almost done here. Couple more, almost done. Okay, now for the large flower, rose, I'm going to bring in with the Daffodil Delight. In the base of each of these petals, I'm going to scribble in a little bit of color. And again, you want to go with the direction that the petals are going. I'm going to ignore these highlight spots completely. I'm just going to add some color in here. Don't be afraid to turn your paper. It makes it much easier. Okay. There's a couple here. I'm going to go ahead and add some color in. Then I'm going to come in with Real Red, and I'm going to go from the top of those petals, blend into the daffodil, and these areas that I left white, I'm going to do Real Red. You could leave some areas white if you wanted. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit here, a little bit there. Okay, then if you want to come back with the yellow and blend those two colors together over the top, you can do that, or you can leave it as it is. There you go, there's that part. Okay, so now for these leaves, I took the Granny Apple Green and I colored the leaves. Couple more here. I had a little bit of powder on there. You don't want to brush it because then it'll rub across your piece and make streaks. And then I took Coastal Cabana, and down at the bottom and along one side I just added a little bit of Coastal Cabana, a little bit of blue. You could use any of the blues. I picked this because it's a little bit of a greener blue. Okay, then I used the Coastal Cabana to add a little bit of color on these flowers. I thought of them as forget-me-nots, and they're blue and pink and white, so you could mix it up. I just added a little bit of blue on them. Almost done here. So these ones down here to do. You can take your time and, do a nicer job, but it's not something that you have to take your time on. As you can see, I'm just kind of scribbling in color. I'm not getting fancy and detailed, I'm just adding color into the spaces. There you go. Okay, so now we can put this card together. That's all there is to that. Alright, we'll bring in our pieces. Okay, so we're going to take our black layer. We're going to mount it to the gold. I think I'll do the gold piece first. I'm going to use my Tombow Mono Multi-Glue. That's my glue of choice, but use whatever glue you're comfortable with. There's going to be a 1/8 of an inch border all the way around because it's a 1/4 inch smaller than the front of the card. Now for this one, I just glued it flat. For this one, I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals just to see what the difference is. Take those backs off. Make sure it's right side up. And again, this is a 1/4 inch smaller than the gold layer, so there's going to be an 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay, then to finish it off on this one, I used the Brush Metallic adhesive back dots, but then afterwards I found the Brush Brass butterflies, so I think I'm going to try those on here. big one. Oops, there's two there. They're stuck together. A small one. A small one up here. Okay, there you go. There's the one that I added the dimensionals to in the butterflies. Here's the one I did previously. It's one leg, or it's flat. I used the other embellishments. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.